I am now going to do a live demo on some UV putty curing. It's super quick, so if you're around and you can jump on because it will literally be over before you can believe it. So let's show you. So I've got this bumper in here. I don't know if I can upload a picture, but there will be a video later of the deep scratches that were on it, or I'll post it to my story, so watch that out. So what we're left now is we've got a little nick on this corner. So I put a bit of tape there because I don't want the putty going round. And there's another little nick there. Now you might think, for those of you, well, you could sand that out. You can, but I've already sanded this quite a lot to get it to where it is. And when you see the picture that I put in my story, you'll understand it better. So what we're going to use is the Colad fast curing system. This is a wired lamp. It's a really powerful lamp, super quick. And obviously you've got protective glasses to wear, or I've got them, so I'll put them there. And I just dropped them. And this is the putty I'm going to use. It's the Colab fast curing UV putty. So here we go. I'm going to put you onto the tripod. Bear with me a minute once I just do that. Because this is going to be really quick, guys. It takes literally seconds for this to cure. So, right. Okay, so we have this. You don't need a lot of it. And what we're going to do is put it onto a little spreader. Just make sure you can see this. Yeah, just move you around here a little bit more. And then you just want to squeeze it out of the tube. There we go. Always put the cap back on the tube, because if you don't, it's sunny outside, it will start to cure. You don't have a big window to work on. And you're just going to squeeze it into those little nicks that are left. That's it. And then there's a little bit there. And from this side, I'm going to just come round. And that's why I put the tape on the inside, because I don't want it going too far around the corner. I want the tape to stop that. You can rebuild it again if you need to put another layer on. So just get that. I have keyed these little nicks up with some 240. Okay, let's just wipe that off. Just going to give that, like I said, they're not very deep, so I don't need a lot of product on the panel. So just wiping off any excess. Okay, glasses on. Always remember to wear some UV protection. And I can now cure it. I'm going to pull you back a bit. So we're looking at a 3-second cure. At the moment this is still wet. 1, 2, 3. And there we go. So that's ready to sand. I'll just do these ones as well. They won't take as long because they're not as thick. There you go. So that's it. Spin you around. So that's it. It is literally as quick as that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to, with a little bit of 240. This is just on a soft. Well, it's actually a fairly dense foam. Just sticks onto the back there. Little 240. And hold on, you can't see it. There we are. Just sand that away. Now, you should wear a mask when you're doing this. I'm just trying to talk you through it. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. Just wanted to show you how the product actually works. Okay, I'll take you off and take you in. And then if you have any questions, hold on, sorry, just trying to get off the tripod. If you have any questions, put them into the comments and I'll answer them. So that's it. That's the UV putties in there. When you apply this product, you want to apply it in thin layers, no more than 3 millimeters thick. And the reason for that is if you go too thick and you go beyond 3 millimeters, it will not cure. The light will not penetrate it and cure it properly. So just build it up. If I needed to apply another coat here, all you do is you give it a quick cure. Don't sand it like I have. Cure it, skim it again, cure it. If you need to do another skim, skim it again, cure it, and then sand it. But if you stand each time, I found it doesn't actually work as well, just because you're ending up standing it lower than you need to. So yeah, just to recap, the product that I used is the Colad fast curing lamp. It's a wired unit, it's got a little transformer, so you can't use it rechargeably, there's no such word. You can't recharge it, it is wired in. Right, I'm just going to go through and see if there's any comments or questions that I need to answer. So I'm just scrolling through this. Do you need a plastic adhesion promoter? No. And I've been using this now for about, I'm just trying to think how long it's been. So since COVID. So 2 to 3 years, something like that. I've been using this product. They do two products. They do the coarse and they do a fine. So for anything deeper, I'd like to use the coarse. And then when I've got actually some of these I probably could have done with the fine because they were a bit deep, quite shallow. But the fine works really well for little stone chips so if you've prepped your panel and you find a little chip in there, put the fine in, cure it, and then just sand that back with some 600, even 800, and you can just paint straight over it. No issues at all, no need to prime it. But back to your question on adhesion promoter, I've never had a need to use any adhesion promoter on the plastics. This works really well, it's direct to plastic and direct to steel. And I'm going to show you some UV curing. So what I'm going to do is, before I start, I'm just going to take you through the products that I'm going to use. And I've got a hood on, an air-fed mask, so that I can spray it, and you should be able to hear me even when I've switched the booth on. So the curing lamp that I'm going to use, if you didn't see my last live demo, just check it out. It's the Colad fast curing UV lamp. All right, that's your main on-off button. You can see. Switch that off. We don't need it on at the moment. It starts up a fan. So that's the lamp I'm going to use. What I'm going to do is I'm going to prime this area here. I've already applied some adhesion promoter, and it's the Octral PA65. I apply it on a rag rather than a spray gun. Just is a little bit easier to do. So that's ready to go. Always give it, if you're going to put an adhesion promoter on, always give it the correct time, which is like 5 to 10 minutes. If it's in a liquid on aerosol, it's going to be quicker for it to flash off, because if you go and spray over it when the adhesion promoter is still wet, you're going to have adhesion problems with the actual product. So the UV curing product that I'm going to use is from Final Systems. It's the Ultimate UV Primer. I've been using this now for just under a year. For me, it's a fantastic product. I know that some people have bought it. Through the aerosol, it'll cure with pretty much any gun, but when you put it on, as you'll see with the spray gun, it's a slightly thicker build. It's got a deeper opacity to it. So you need a more powerful UV curing lamp to cure this. The spray gun that I'm going to use is my trusty, just give it a shake. It's my 3M performance spray gun. The UV primer is in there. I leave it in there all the time. It doesn't go off unless it is exposed to sunlight. But because it's in this black PPS cup, no sunlight gets in there, so it's in there. You can hear it. All right, so there we go. And then we'll just give it a little bit of a guide coat after we've applied it. I'm expecting a 1 minute cure time on this. And let me just get that in properly where I masked it up. Yeah, so I'm expecting a 1 minute cure time on this, and then I'm going to sand it back, and I'm going to sand it back with some 240. This is actually an old disc. Sorry, not 240, 400. This is an older disc, so it's probably sanding at about 500. So you're going to see all of this. Literally, it should take us minutes. That's how quick it is. So I'm just going to put you on the tripod. I'm going to switch the extraction unit on. You should still be able to hear me because I did do a little test and it seemed to work. But let me put you onto the tripod now. Hold on. Just bear with me. All right, so there we go. You should be able to see everything. I'm going to put my hood on and hopefully you can still hear me. If you have any questions, you're welcome to ask them at the end. And I will go through the comments. Right, that's the booths on. So we only want to apply, let me just get the airline. We only want to apply
2 coats of this product because it's got a very high build. But you apply your first coat, give it 30 seconds to flash off, and then apply your second coat. The pressure I'm working at is about just under 2 bar. I might switch it up a bit. There you go. So you can see how I'm putting it on. I've keyed the area with 240, so it's all ready keyed up to that area. I'm just going to blend that out. So that's my first coat. I'm just going to come back with the second coat. I don't need to put too much on there, so I'll probably go quite quickly. That's it. So that's all I need to do with that. Right. Next up, UV curing lamp. Put that on. Need to wear my goggles, so I'll put that on top. Hold on. Alright, a bit difficult wearing these with the mask on. Okay, so there we go. So you want to work at about 15 to 20 centimeters away from the panel. Just moving the lamp up and up as we go along. I haven't timed this, but it's not going to take long. Probably going to be a couple of passes. On the second pass or third pass up, second pass up, I'll take it a little bit closer. Don't forget to go in the corners here because you need the UV light to hit everything. Right, now I'll just go a little bit slower and a little bit closer. The closer you get to the panel, the more intense the light is. The further, if you're curing this distance, it's going to take a lot longer to cure. You want to be working at this sort of distance. Obviously, depending on the lamp. That's it, we're done. That's cured, ready to go. Green light, still running. The fan is cooling down the actual lamps, so the bulbs at the front here, so LEDs, so it automatically switches off. Just going to put a little bit of spy coat or guide coat, just so we can see where we're sanding. Alright, I can switch the extraction off, so bear with me and I'll talk you through everything. So I have,
We don't need that on anymore. So just see, let me take you off here. So just to go through what I've done is I have put on my, keyed up the panel with 240. I've put on some adhesion promoter where the raw plastic is exposed. I've used a rag to put that on rather than a spray gun. Just works better for me. And then once that's totally flashed off, sort of about 10 minutes, you want to put on your UV primer, 5 to 10 minutes, depending on the temperature really. So we're going to put the UV primer on. This is the ultimate UV primer from Final Systems. Like I said, I like this because it has quite a grey opacity and finish to it, like a traditional primer. A lot of other ones, the Sikkens is a very transparent primer. It's a very good primer, UV primer, but it's very transparent. Cured that off under a minute, or around a minute anyway. And then we're just going to, I just applied some spy coat so we can see any high and low spots. And what we will do now, I'm just going to get it, is we're just going to sand this back so we can see, we want it a nice uniform grey. Right, here we go. I'll turn you around for this, okay? Hold on a minute. There we are. So just going to sand this back. switch on the sander.
So I probably won't sand this all because I'm sure you don't want to sit there and watch it, but just to give you an idea of what we're trying to do is we want it all to be a uniform grey. So where we've got still a bit of black there, we know that it's a low spot and we don't want that. We want it to be level. Now you get a really good build from this product. And because it's so fast curing, if you need to come back and apply another coat, you can. Just key it up. Just key that up with some 240, 320 and reapply it. Before you go, I just want to talk to you about the actual pads that I'm using as well, because they are quite unique. Right, that gives you an idea. So that gives you an idea of what we're looking for on that, from that finish, and actually how fast this system works. Because as you saw from start to finish, we're probably, I don't know, 5-6 minutes into this. Now, when I was sanding that, I'm using a backing pad system from a company called Skelly Time. Right, this is their hard, so that's a hard pad. This one here is their, sorry, that's their rigid, and that's the hard. And although they call it hard, it's got some flex in it. So what's really unique about this system is obviously that's the side that your disc goes onto, which is cool. But behind here is a metal plate. So there's a metal plate on this front. So when you're sanding, you can see that the front tends to stay nice and level with the panel that we were working on, and you don't sand away that contour, which is why, actually this is a really good example, because where I was sanding there, hopefully you can see this, let me tick you up. So where I was sanding, you can see that the pad, because of the metal plate that's next to the actual bumper itself and not behind, the foam is taking the absorption of the pressure that you're putting on your sander, whereas the actual pad, the sanding disc, is staying in line with the panel itself. And that's why I'm able to maintain such a nice line on the swage, and I'm not breaking that swage down. I know a lot of guys like to use blocks. I have them. And I have had people say to me before, why are you using a 150 DA to do this? You know, you're not going to have as much control. You can see here, I've got the control, and it's the pad that's helping me get that control, the interface pad. Right, I'm going to finish this off. I'm just going to scroll through. So yeah, just one more thing, just so you can see that line, how well it's kept that swage line because of the metal plate. Actually, if I've got, let me just, some metal. Here's a magnet. I happen to have a magnet. So that's a magnet, and you can see, get close enough. So there we go. That's the metal plate. So the metal plate is behind there and helps me keep it on the panel.